Hello and welcome to this video on creating state machine with AI autonomous agent. This is part 3. So in this video, I will illustrate some change to the implementation. Okay, some important changes. And in part 4, we will see or we can update the LLM without updating the code if we want to change a business rule, right? But let's focus first on this important update. The update are the following. I've migrated my SharePoint list to a Dataverse database. And the consequence is I had to update my agent flow, so the triggers. And also I've built a model-driven app so that user can interact with the LLM by using the model-driven app. The second major update is that I'm now reusing the conversation. So I initially thought that there was a timeout in the conversation. And it looks like, indeed, you can reuse the same conversation so that you don't have to rebuild a conversation from scratch anytime you interact with the agent. Okay, that's pretty easy. So let's take a look at this update. All right, so let's take a look at this solution. So here I have my state machine content, right? And now, as you can see, it's a Dataverse table. And I have the following column, advisor, so it's a choice, approve or reject it, boss, choice, approve or reject it. Content or style, that's when the user updates the content or update the style, you need to specify if it's style or content. The final status, secretariat, which is a choice, approve or reject it. And we have a new column, which is the conversation ID, right? That I will illustrate. Now, next to this, I did create a Power Apps model-driven app application, which looks like this, right? So the user create new content from here. So when the user create a new content, then let's go to the agent. One of the trigger, which is when a row is added. So one of the flow, which is a trigger, will start, will be called. And in this flow, so this flow is triggered here when something is started, something is added, sorry. And I grab information about the content here. But the new thing is when I send information to the agent here, I send the same information as before, but I will grab the conversation ID. When you initialize a conversation, the agent give you a conversation ID back, and then you store this, so you associate the conversation ID with your content. Okay, so we can see that here in the table here, we can see that indeed for each content, so this one content, we have a corresponding conversation ID, right, which is here. And the next time you do something on the content, so let's say that a user is requested to update the content or the style, then you need to specify this content or style, you see. And when there is an update, let's go to the agent. So when a user has updated the content or the style, for instance, but at the same logic when someone approve or reject it, right? Then in the flow, you will retrieve the conversation ID that you did store, you see, and you will generate instruction for the agent. instruction is smaller. You just need to explain what just happened. You don't have to bring the previous conversation information here. You can send that to the agent. You just need to provide the conversation ID so that the agent get the whole context. Okay, the whole context history, which is important when you have a state machine, because the LLM need to know exactly what happened before, who did approve before. So it need to understand the whole picture, right? That's important. So that's basically the change I've done here in this agent. Otherwise, I have the same flow. The flow that manage the approval is there. So here we have the validate content that I did illustrate in the previous video, right? It's still the same. Okay, so that's basically the change that I've done on this solution. Now, in the next video, I will illustrate how efficient this approach is, because if you change the business rule, then you just need to change the LLM, and that's it. You don't need to change the implementation. So that's the power of using an LLM in your application. So let's see that in the next video.